So it is time for a Q&A. You guys have been asking us a lot of the same questions since we have been travelling around China for the last couple of months. So I'm going to dive in with these questions here and we're going to answer them as honestly and truthfully as we can. We're not trying to offend anyone. These are just our honest opinions and experience since being here in China. So first one for you, Alan. What were your main sources of information before travelling?
Honestly, not much. We decided to come to China extremely last minute before we left the UK to go to the Middle East, and it was quite difficult to get a Chinese visa, so you have to book your full trip before coming. So we did that just to get the visa, and then sort of just cancelled our plans and rebooked them again once we got the visa. But information wise, not much. We just took like a tour group and basically copied their tour and done it on our own. It's really expensive to go on these tours, and we've done a tour in Syria and it's amazing, but it's also very restrictive. So you're here this time, you're here at this time, and you eat in this restaurant. You don't get much time to explore and eat what you want. So we've done it our way, but as I said, we done it last minute. So we went from the Middle East into India, then straight into China. So there wasn't a lot of space and time to actually do a lot of research about China or travelling in China. We sort of just arrived with no idea what we were doing, but it all went pretty smoothly from the start.
Yeah, considering how hard it is to like find all the information online, because compared to all the other countries that we've travelled to, there's not very many tourists that have been here, and especially backpackers like us that are on a budget, it's very limited to what you can learn online. So we were a bit scared coming here as well, but we were so surprised when we arrived how easy and sort of straightforward things were.
And another thing, a lot of the information which is online about travelling through China is pre-COVID, so it's like 4 years out of date, and a lot's changed here in the last 4 years, so there's only so like much useful relevant information that's actually out there. So you kind of either do have to book a tour or just hit the ground running and work it out for yourself, which has worked out all right for us.
Yeah. So next question is inconveniences you face while travelling. So this one is kind of different, and it's something that we come across every single day without fail. Toilets in China. I honestly don't know what it is, but it is impossible to find a toilet. Even when you go into places like Starbucks, McDonald's and shopping malls, or on the side of the street, there is no toilet. Like, and me and Alan literally have the worst bladder in the world. Like, we have one sip of water and we need to run to the toilet. So it's been a bit of a nightmare for us, and it is a bit of a stress, because sometimes it's like it puts up your halt into your day because you have to walk for 30 minutes to find a toilet. It's just a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, and trying to do laundry is quite difficult. Really hard to find the laundry, and the ones that we have actually charged per item, so even like per sock. So we've done a few hand washes, and we've been lucky enough that some of the places that we've stayed in have actually let us use their machine, so that's been not bad.
Yeah, I think if China's going to open up to tourism, especially like budget travellers, like having like laundrettes like you have in like Southeast Asia, like Vietnam and Thailand, like that you can just drop your stuff off and collect it within a few hours for like £10. Like it needs to be more affordable, because when we went to the laundrette to hand our washing, they wanted £60 for like 5 or 6 days worth of clothes, which was just far too expensive.
Why did you stay in that hotel in Wuhan? I don't even see what was wrong with it. Now, we've been travelling for just over a year, and we have to pay for a hotel every single night of our life. So when something's a repeat expense, you try and make it as cheap as possible. It doesn't matter if it's £5, £6, £7, we will always book the cheapest hotel. And you know what, see, when you're in them every single night, a bed's a bed, a shower's a shower, who cares? We're hardly ever in them, we're out all day. All we do is go home and sleep in it and shower and get out in the morning. And you know what, there was nothing wrong with it. It
was actually nice and cosy, because it was quite cold when we were in Wuhan, and the guy gave us the remote to put the heating on, so we had it blasting and we were loving it.
Yeah, and that's not even that bad. You would be horrified to see some of the places we've stayed in like India. Like, we had rats in our room one night in India, so these little rooms you get in China are absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with them.
What was the most unexpected thing you have experienced so far in China? For me, it would probably be going to the Great Wall and just like it being me and Alan there on our own. It was the most like overwhelming experience. Like it just made us feel like so nice inside, and I don't know, it just never felt that we would have made it to the Great Wall of China. It was such an incredible experience, and we still talk about it every day.
For me, like the most shocking thing is the cashless society. And it sounds really bad to people who have never experienced it before. People don't like the idea of everything going cashless, but it's so much easier. You just have your QR code and you pay for everything in like a second. I think the first time we were in China, we were actually trying to get rid of our cash as we were leaving, because we only lifted 50 quid worth of cash, and lucky we spent like a fiver of it. You just don't need it here. And I can understand why people don't like cashless societies or the idea of it, but it's so much more straightforward. Having like Alipay is like, I don't know why the rest of the world hasn't jumped on and have these payment wallets. It makes everything so much more straightforward, and everybody takes it. The public transport take it, the street food vendors take it. It's just,
yeah, it's good.
Makes everything so much more straightforward and quick.
Yep. How do you feel on the Red Star liquor? Well, I honestly thought if I took one more sip of that, I might have died. Like, it honestly felt like I should not have been drinking that.
Yeah, that was like acid. I think it was like 56%, but oh my god.
Never again.
I don't know how you Chinese people drink that straight. Oh, my lips were burning. That was horrific.
Yeah, I think we got it right with what we thought it smelled like. What it tasted like was nail polish remover. Like, oh, it was vile.
Yeah, too strong.
Have you ever felt uneasy or nervous about the security cameras? No, don't notice them. They're probably everywhere in the world anyway. We're not out here to cause trouble, we're just out here to experience life. So, no, not an issue. Yeah,
Singapore are covered in them, London is covered in them. To be honest, I don't think anyone is going to sit and watch me and Shannon wander about a city. We are actually extremely boring people. We're never up to anything worth watching apart from what we create for you guys. So yeah, I don't even take note of them, and if anything, they make the place you're in safer, because no one's going to do anything when there's cameras everywhere. So they're there to protect me and Shannon and everyone else here, so not an issue at all.
Yep. Biggest culture shock? I don't know.
I'll say the biggest culture shock is actually the opposite of what you'd expect.
Oh, yeah.
Because we thought China was going to be dirty, dingy, busy, noisy.
Unfriendly.
Yeah, people are going to be rude and arrogant and don't want us here. But it was completely the opposite. It was just a normal place. In fact, it's
better than what we
yeah,
thought.
It's way more advanced. So that kind of took us a bit by surprise.
Yeah.
Rather than culture shock, as if I can't adjust to this.
Yeah, it was like the opposite way.
And we've been in Asia for about a year now, so it's kind of almost a wee bit more familiar. But yeah, this is just a normal place full of normal people.
Yeah. Would you encourage people to learn basic Chinese before arriving in China? Yes, it would make your life easier, but I mean, Chinese is probably one of the hardest languages to learn, especially for people like me and Alan that only know English. Yeah, it's quite difficult. We would like to learn and we try learn phrases, but it's just so difficult, to be honest.
Yeah, we tried to learn a few things, and as soon as you say what you think you've learned to somebody and they speak back to you, your brain just completely freezes.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit easier in Europe, because with like Spanish and Italian, a lot of the words sound similar, so you can kind of half survive knowing a little bit. But here it's completely different. There's nothing similar at all about English and Mandarin. So it's hard, and there's only so much you can learn outside the country. You have to be here and speak to people and listen to it and familiarise yourself. So you could spend 6 months learning it and come here and speak to somebody and it's gone. But yeah, it's worth it. But everyone has translators here and they're so fast, so you can survive.
Yeah, and we also got told that it's sort of different dialect for different provinces, just the way like in the UK you have different slang so I guess it's sort of different as well, so you might struggle to know what people are even saying to you. Would you settle in China given the chance?
I don't think permanently, but I could definitely do a couple of years here. I don't think I could live here. I think we need our home comforts and stuff that we are more familiar with, but I don't know, every place we go to gets cooler and cooler, so I don't know, there's so much more to see, so why not? Not permanently, but yeah, I could do a long period of time here, definitely.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe that's just the honeymoon phase of when you come to a new country, you love it. But yeah, it's a cool place.
I know, and each place is different as well. I think even if like someone that lives in China, like you would just never run out of things to explore here. It's such a big country and there's so much history and there's so much like new futuristic buildings and trains getting built, so yeah, it's a very interesting place. Yeah,
and I think the thing that like appeals to us is they build for people here in China, so there's always new things getting built and you always see these pictures of like plans for places that are getting built or new parks, and it's nice because you don't really get much of that in the UK. It's sort of, if something gets broken in the UK, it just stays broken, whereas here they're always progressing and developing, so we really appreciate that side of it.
Final two questions. Why do you think people don't travel to China? Want to start us off?
Why do people not travel to China? I don't know, as we experience, it's a really hard country to research about, and I think everyone has like a really negative perception about China.
Visas aren't usually that easy to get, although this year it's starting to change. I think you can get 2 weeks if you live in Europe. Yeah, a lot of European countries, we don't get it. Our passport is not quite as strong as it used to be, but a lot of European countries are getting visas on arrival. I'd honestly think in the next maybe 5 to 10 years this could become a very popular place to travel to. I think they do have to make it more, I don't know, like tourist friendly in a way, if it is going to progress to that, because it would definitely help. Final question. Last one. Why do you always eat in cheap restaurants? Food is fuel. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Yeah. As Alan said with the hotels, we have to eat 3 meals a day and we're constantly having to spend money on food. It's not sustainable for us to eat in a 5-star restaurant every night as much as we would love to eat roast duck every night of the week. Sometimes it's just easy and convenient to go to the side of the road and get some noodles and a fried egg. Does the job the exact same. Yep, and these little cheap restaurants are fantastic. The food is amazing. We've not ate much terrible food. We've not had food poisoning? Yeah, we haven't had food poisoning. So there's nothing wrong with these restaurants. They're perfectly fine. They're cheap. As Shannon said, when you're eating or you're buying 3 meals a day every single day, it does become, food becomes fuel. You sort of want to just eat something and get out. So yeah, but the food's perfect. We've enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, sometimes we have ordered things in these restaurants that is not what we expected. Like 2 days ago we thought we were ordering spicy noodles and some strange fish came out on top of the noodles, so that wasn't the most pleasant, but we ate it. Yeah, and it was fine. And it was tasty. But yeah, that wraps up our questions. So I hope that kind of answered as much of what we were asked. And would we recommend someone to travel to China? Well, we only plan to come here for 3 weeks and we're back already, so that answers that question for you. Yeah, don't miss out. Yeah, give it a shot. Come here open-minded, and China is not your enemy, only ignorance is, so come here and find out for yourself. Thank you.